My boyfriend, M37, says I, F30, want to have my cake and eat it. My boyfriend, M37, and I, F30, have been dating for 8 months. Things can sometimes be tumultuous, but we generally have a good time together. We have similar values and treat each other well. We have a reoccurring challenge that I frame as a lack of community from him and that he frames as a lack of prioritization on my side. I let him know that I will be at a sleepover with my best friends on the weekend since one of them isn't having a great time and we'd like to cheer her up. I could hear his disappointment over the phone when he said, I don't operate as someone in a relationship and I want to have my cake and eat it since I should be hanging out with him over the weekend. I spent the whole of last weekend with him. I saw him during the week. We talk for at least an hour every day multiple times throughout the day, and I will be spending some time next week on a holiday I planned for us. I'm struggling with fulfilling his time needs because my other relationships with my friends and family are important to me. How do I maintain my other relationships while also helping my partner feel fulfilled that he's also a priority and important to me? My other relationships with my friends and family are important to me. That means I cannot promise you all of my weekends simply because you are my boyfriend. If that's going to be a problem, then this isn't going to work. Your boyfriend's almost 40. He's too old to be acting entitled to right of first refusal over your time. If he's not willing to accept that you do have other priorities, then I don't think your values are as in alignment as you think they are. This is not having your cake and eating it too. This is normal friend behavior that is healthy, and your partner should encourage you to maintain your friendships. Boyfriend sounds controlling and insecure. Having your cake and eating it too would be if you were like cheating or acting single. Somehow does he simply think the sleepover part is inappropriate? Weird. That's a term usually used for cheaters, but you aren't cheating if you have friends and take care of your social life. Does he have friends? Don't be his everything. It's gonna be exhausting real soon. Your boyfriend isn't a needy kid. You aren't responsible for his emotional state. You are only responsible for your own, and you do need friends to be stable. You maintain your friendships by having boundaries with your boyfriend. Your friends and family aren't extras to be squeezed in after your romantic relationship. They're part of your emotional ecosystem. If a relationship requires you to shrink that to make someone else feel secure, it might not be the right fit unless that security can be built together. You just need to be firm in your boundaries and make it clear that your other relationships are also a priority to you. If he can't handle this, then maybe he is just not the guy for you. At 37 years old, he should be mature enough to not try and isolate you from everyone you love. It sounds like he wants you all to himself, which is incredibly unhealthy. His lack of community is not your problem. Honestly, this sounds like it could escalate. Men like this won't stop until you have no one but them. I truly hope you don't let him do that to you and the other relationships you value. Stop. You don't need to do anything whatsoever, he does. Of course, people in healthy relationships have other friends that they spend time with. Your boyfriend sounds insecure and controlling. Don't let him convince you that you're the problem. And you don't need to do anything to help him feel prioritized. You're already seeing him plenty. This is a him problem, not a you problem to fix. You make it clear that you will not allow him to monopolize your time. You absolutely are operating as someone in a relationship, and he needs to grow up or leave. Maybe he should get some friends of his own to spend time with. Absolutely ridiculous of him. Don't tolerate it. BF 25M smashed a plant. I 26F was admiring. Me 26F and boyfriend 25M have been together 2 years. We were at park today. I was admiring a plant I thought was cool and told him to come look at it. He came over, glanced at it, and immediately stomped on it. I asked him why he would do that, and he said, I was just messing with you, which seems to be his response often. I expressed it was upsetting to me and he apologized begrudgingly. This seems abnormal to me and very weird behavior to destroy something I was enjoying. Has anyone experienced a man like this? Did it ever get better? Or am I being dramatic? You can't fix him. He gets enjoyment out of your misery. Do you want to be with someone like that? End it with him. He will make your life miserable. Marry the one that will bring you, unasked, the same plant in a bowl, once he knows you like it. He's testing your limits. How far can he push you and you stay? This will escalate and is a huge red flag. Please break up with him. He's a sadist and you are at best just wasting your time with him. At worst, he would continue escalating until he hurts you. He's 25? No way. You need to leave this man, child. It is for sure abnormal. Thank you, everyone. I have been in this relationship a while and feel like I have been blind for a lot of it. Recently I've been noticing much more and questioning much more. I have never seen or been modeled a healthy relationship of any kind, so I think my perception of what's normal can be skewed. Thank you again. Wife, 38F, says I'm 40F, classist, for correcting our son's English. Too long did not read. Wife says I'm classist, for correcting our son's English. My wife, 38F, and I, 40F, have been married for 11 years, together for 20. We have 2 kiddos, 7M and 2F. My wife and I grew up in very different economic conditions. I was upper middle class and my wife was working class. Together, we are now solidly upper middle and live in a high cost of living area. We built a little suite on our property where her parents live now, M and F mid-60s. I tend to correct our son's English when he uses it incorrectly. He hangs out with my in-laws a lot and picks up some bad habits, for example saying something like, "I seen the ball over there." I correct him by saying something like, "Do you mean, I saw the ball?" and he usually responds with, "Yeah." My wife says that I should stop correcting him because it's classist. We got into a bit of an argument last night about it. I corrected him when my mother-in-law was around and my wife said I made her feel bad. This is where I'm pretty sure I was the asshole. I said that, regardless of how she grew up, we are now living in the world where I grew up and people in this world judge others by the way they speak and act. Our son is growing up like this too and has to have the tools to make a good impression on others. I immediately apologized, but she's pretty upset with me. I know that she is sensitive about our financial situation and feels a little guilty about leaving her roots. She has worked really hard to get us to this point. I'm a stay-at-home mom and have been since our son was born, but I think she has some imposter syndrome tendencies. She deserves every cent she earns, and works with a lot of young people that are similar to how she grew up. Does anyone have any advice on how we can overcome these sorts of issues? We generally have a wonderful relationship, but these problems have been with us since the beginning. Of note, there are other related things that she considers classist, manners that are beyond common sense, napkins on laps, how to sit, proper dishes, $5 words. The most recent was presupposition, drinking wine at dinner, and talking about fine art. Also, spending more than $10 on 5 ounces of cheese, but I think that was a joke. Edit. A little clarification here, since apparently it's relevant. My wife and kids are all Hispanic. I am white, or passing at least. My father is Hispanic but very light-skinned. I would never presume to correct my wife's English. She's a grown adult woman and I have the utmost respect for her. It is not anyone's place to correct another adult's grammar unless they explicitly ask for it. That's extremely patronizing, don't do it. You've all given me a lot to think about. Honestly, the thoroughness and depth of some of your replies blow me away. I really didn't consider how code switching is taught and that I am seeing the beginning of that here. Because of my skin color and background, it's not something I really have to consider. Thank you so much for enlightening me. Also, I'm not as uptight as some of you think. I grew up near the beach and I regularly pepper in lots of, man, dude, like, and so on, as any self-respecting millennial will do. As a commenter said below, slang and incorrect grammar are 2 different things. When she says you're being classist, what is it that's important to her? Is she trying to protect your son's emotional safety? Her emotional safety? Does she have a story that you judge her? Is she trying to act with integrity? Try to get at what's the underlying value and you may be able to come up with a solution that works for both of you. But it will take some listening and reflecting, and did I understand that right and so is what you're saying, without taking your stories personally. Personal note: I do correct my kids' English, but dinner times, relative to how I grew up, are a shit show. That being said, I have informed my children of how to behave in public and they pull it off really well. All that to say some things can be let go. Your wife needs to understand people severely judge others by how they communicate. They judge your intelligence, class, political leanings, and so much more by sentence structure, word selection, grammar and pronunciation. It's not classist, it's facing the world as it is versus how one can wish it was. Employers often use grammar as a proxy for attention to detail, critical thinking, and professionalism. Your wife is setting your child up to be constantly struggling and not really understanding why, and it is because people will think very negative things about him because of how he speaks and communicates. Parents are supposed to want a better life for their children, so help your child succeed by telling your wife to stop sandbagging your child's future. It is not classist. It's raising a child. Raising a child includes teaching them a variety of things, including reading, writing, communication. Your wife is wrong. Keep teaching your child. Teaching him what is often termed received English will give him a big leg up in life. Fair or not, it will give him a wider choice of jobs, especially high-paying jobs. It is classist. What classes does she want her kid to have a shot at? I think it's fine for him to not speak 100% correct in his home, but he should know how to speak outside of it. If he develops slang, just teach him when it's appropriate. As long as you're not shaming him or acting like he's stupid and not correcting other adults or other people's kids, it should be fine. This is strange to say the least. It's like she's attached to a caricature of what her roots in the working class life used to be. Working class doesn't mean you're not able to understand manners or proper grammar. Working class does not mean you can't have proper grammar or talk about art, or use napkins to cover your lap at dinner. Working class people understand how napkins work. You're not classist for teaching your child proper grammar. I think there's something more deeply rooted going on with your wife, because it seems like she's overcompensating for the fact she's escaped working class life. Is my 30F relationship with my boyfriend, 31M, over because he's starting to support Trump? I've known my boyfriend since high school, but we only started dating 2 years ago. I know politics isn't a deal breaker for some. I've always been really passionate and outspoken about these things. It's not like I didn't know my boyfriend was apolitical or moderate when we first started dating. I mean, during the super dark days of COVID, when he first asked me on a date and I said yes only if we socially distanced, he got annoyed and didn't want to meet. He was confused why I take COVID so seriously. My point being, we've always been different on these topics, and it shouldn't be a surprise to me now that this issue is still relevant. I just ignored it in the beginning because I was honeymooning so hard. Anyways, last night he told me that he thought Trump is the first president he has seen care so much about the people of America. My jaw dropped. Like, are we living on the same planet? Potentially unrelated context: I'm Iranian, daughter of immigrants, and he's white. I know you don't have to agree on everything with your partner, but I just want to feel understood. And I worry that for someone who's as impacted by these things, that this issue won't go away for me. If I am being honest, I'm also worried about breaking it off and realizing it was a huge mistake when I have to start all over and open up again to anyone new. I know that's a common and silly, not real reasoning though. We live together, first guy I've ever lived with, and have 2 kittens together. Fuck, I dwell on big decisions a lot and just had to get my thoughts written. If anyone's wondering, other parts of the relationship are fine, I guess. Although I do feel like our sexual compatibility has maybe gone down since living together, but that's fixable. I've heard. Sometimes I wonder about our intellectual compatibility, but that also goes into these topics regarding Trump and other basic things. No one's ever gonna be perfect for you though, right? It's about compromise. How do you know when you're settling? Your honeymoon goggles are gone and you're starting to see who he really is and what he cares about. There's a big difference between partners not agreeing on everything and your core values and beliefs not aligning. You know you're settling when you ask yourself, am I settling? I've been with my partner for 17 years and I've never asked myself that. You were dick hazed for so long, girl. It would be a deal breaker for me. Politics, finances, kids. You can't have major disagreements on those things and expect a healthy relationship. He is either insanely dumb or a fascist. You can do better. I feel like this, partners with different political beliefs, was way more of a realistic thing 20 years ago. Back then we were disagreeing over where our taxes should go, how best to deal with foreign policy issues, and similar things that are fair to disagree about, and can be compromised on. But now it's about things like, should women have bodily autonomy? Should poor people die? Should billionaires be allowed to buy policy? And those just aren't things you can compromise on.